The final votes are in for Student Government Association runoff election, and what were students doing to bring attention to student homelessness?
Plus, new renderings show the vision Georgia State University has in store. All that and more on Panther Report News.
Hello, and welcome to Panther Report News. I'm Cherie Pruitt.
And I'm Ashton Gates. Last week, students made one last push in the Student Government Association runoff election. And after a highly contested season, Jazmin Mejia was elected as the 2019-2020 president. Collecting 655 votes, Mejia led her contender Anthony Jones by 516 votes. Jones received 139 votes. Panther Report's Tyrik Wynn spoke to Mejia about her victory.
Now, you did have a large margin between you and your opponent. Is there any reason that you think that this happened?
So I was able to campaign the entirety of the day. My opponent unfortunately did not have that same opportunity to campaign the entire day. So, that was a little pushback on him. So I feel like through that also, because I have a lot of connects on all the perimeter campuses, they were really pushing for me, even though, and also I was very surprised to see the amount of people that came out to vote on this second election. I wasn't expecting that as many people, but all the people that voted for me in the first time, I feel like they went around and did it again.
Mejia's wins would also make Mejia the first Latina student to hold the position of president. This is what she had to say.
There's been a lot of buzz on social media, a lot of buzz on campus about you being a Latina president. Can you give us some little insight about that?
Right, so it turns out I am the first Latina SJ president to ever happen at Georgia State University, which is incredible. It's an amazing feeling. Everything that I do is always for the community, whether that be like Latinx community, the African American community, the Asian community. It's just for my community at Georgia State. I absolutely love it. People have been reaching out to me. My family is incredibly proud because everything I do is for my family as well. So just being known as the first Latina SJ president is amazing because my name is always going to be on that timeline, on that milestone of Georgia State.
Hamza Rahman was also elected as the Atlanta Executive Vice President. Rahman, who did not lead in the general election, led in the runoffs with 438 votes. Jesse Collects came in second at 338 votes.
With Georgia State's rising student body population, new renderings show how the university plans to accommodate the Atlanta campus. The images that come from architecture and design firm Cooper Robinson show a renovated student center, Hurt Park, and Decatur Street.
This will also bring further green spaces with an expansion of Library Plaza. The university also plans to bring renovations to the perimeter campus in the future.
With snacks, their homework, and sleeping bags, 7 students laid at Unity Plaza for a sleepout on Monday. The demonstration, organized by the Faces of Feminism, brought attention to student homelessness on campus and called for Georgia State University to take action.
Students were out since 8 p.m. and were asked to leave by GSUPD around 11:30 p.m. after they received a complaint, students say.
As we approach final season, you may be getting a bit stressed, but Black has a solution to these problems. On Thursday night, the Spotlight Programs Board held their annual PantherPalooza, featuring hip-hop artist Black as their headliner. Student performers were also given the stage.
There is always more to be learned, regardless of where you are in your life. Reporter Mira Sawyer has more on one student's journey returning back to college.
Every morning, Diana drives 40 minutes from Kennesaw to downtown Atlanta to do what she loves the most. At a point in time, Diana was unsure she would be able to have a stable job to wake up and go to. Less than 40% of students enrolling at a 4-year college obtain their degree in 4 years.
I did college in a small town. Well, it's no longer small, it's now big. Asheville, North Carolina. It was a 2-year college, AB Tech as they called it.
To earn extra income for her family, Career decided to take a year off after graduating from a hotel and restaurant management program.
But let me go get some experience. That would be the best thing to do. So I did. I went and got experience. Then you make a little money. Then you start to get happy and like, oh my gosh, I'm making all this money I never made before.
It took 9 years for Career to return to her studies at Kennesaw State University, where she majored in communications.
It was very weird going to school with 19 and 20-year-olds, for sure. I would sit there in class and they'd be having these cliques, and the teacher would say get in groups, and they'll all get together with their friends. It was very weird. But if I was to tell my children, I would tell them definitely don't take the break.
At 30 years old, career intern at Adrian J. Media, where she is currently employed.
Digital media, which has turned out to be probably one of the most fun things I've ever done. Being on social media every day, it's hard work, don't get it wrong, but I get to do fun things, which most people don't get to do who are in the PR world.
Behind these intelligent student minds are incredible educators. This week, I spoke to one Georgia State professor that enlightened students in a different way. To the naked eye, the room behind me may look like it leads to just another ordinary Georgia State class. But behind the door of room 333, a Georgia State professor is transforming the way that his students learn.
I feel like there's always an unfolding story, that every time that I feel like I've uncovered this vital layer of history or these stories, I find that there are more stories to tell.
Professor Maziki Scales teaches the history of African American music at Georgia State and has been a professor for over 2 decades. Student T. Mason says she loves the open dialogue of the class.
You really get to say your opinion. In a lot of classes, I feel like the answer is like right or wrong. In this class, you can express yourself and you can say why you feel that way, and it's okay.
Instead of requiring students to attend concerts, Professor Scales invites musicians and dancers to the classroom and encourages students to participate.
To teach a class like a history of African American music and culture, I thought it would be impactful to bring a bit of that music community onto campus and allow for students to interact with those musicians.
Professor Scales has made such an impact within the classroom that he is still in contact with some of his former students.
About 3 or 4 of my former students play in my band. So, you know, it's kind of an integration of worlds, the academy, the community, and music.
Student Tremaine Watson says that the passion Professor Scales has is evident.
He's passionate about the class. You could tell he goes to sleep thinking about what he's going to do the next day before he come to class, and it shows when he teaches.
Professor Scales hopes to leave a lasting impression on his students.
I feel like the lasting impact I hope to have, or hope the classroom setting has too, is just that to know where you come from, to develop a sense of identity and let that have a positive impact on your social practice.
From Georgia State University, this is Ashton Gates for Panther Report News. Well, that's our show.
Make sure to stay connected to Panther Report News throughout the week, and be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at GSU PRN.
Also, subscribe down below and please let us know what you think in the comments.
I'm Sheree Pruitt.
And I'm Ashton Gates, and we'll see you next week.